Hi, Dheeraj. Thank you so much for joining us on Blitz Business. It's a pleasure to have you.
My pleasure, Ashish. Thank you so much for having me on.
Awesome. Awesome. Let's get started. Yes. So, Dheeraj, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so I started this company, Jumboking. This was 22 years ago, and long time. We had a rebirth in our new avatar, which was 7 years ago, 2017 onwards, where we basically pivoted from Jumboking being a vada pav to becoming a burger. I'm sure during the podcast we will uncover, why that happened. It's been an amazing journey. I have done my hotel management from IHM Bombay, uh, and then an MBA in finance. And I was always, very very keen to understand how businesses get built. The large businesses, the businesses which are meant to last. And that's when I, started this journey of reading a lot of autobiographies. So I wanted to understand, say Howard Schultz when he built Starbucks. How did he start? Was he born in the right country with a lot of capital, or was it something else? And how Ray Kroc built McDonald's, or how Fred DeLuca built Subway. So that became my subject of intense interest during my MBA days. I think somewhere all of these people really influenced me, and that was how Jumboking started.
So, when you mention about starting with, so right after your MBA, you started working or you started business? What was it?
Okay, great. So after my MBA, I had, in fact, started. My first business was in the mithai industry. We had come from a business of, as in a family of halwais, and I read this report that the entire Indian sweet industry, mithai industry, is a very, very large opportunity, which was untapped then, is untapped now, and I'm pretty sure there'll be a billion-dollar business which will get created in this. But I was trying to do this in the year 1999, 2000, where technology was not too great, including the packaging and the machinery, etc., the infrastructure available in India. And I think that business bombed big time for me. I was all of 26 years old. And, I had a lot of ideas and dreams, but it did not work at all. And being an MBA in finance, I had a proper project report. And I told my dad I won't take money from him. He just has to give the guarantee for my bank loan. And I think, but I was very naive. Yeah. That was my real MBA, where I learned that bookish projections are one thing and the real world is completely different. So what we were taught in an MBA and what the real world, how it works is completely different. That I think that first business of mine was my real MBA. And then I started Jumboking with like literally no money. It was with an investment of just 2 lakh rupees.
Understood. So, let's talk a little bit about the Indian sweet segment. If you can share some insight. I mean, one trend we have seen is like people are eating less sweets, right? I mean, overall. But still, is it a good segment? If you have some insights or anything in terms of the market or anything, do you think it's a good opportunity for people to start?
Yeah, yeah, Ashish, it's like someone saying people are eating lesser sweets and therefore they're eating lesser chocolates, right? Because chocolates are sweet also. So
Hmm.
it's a huge, huge opportunity. And uh, hello,
Yeah, you're audible.
yeah, I think the market is very unorganized, and whoever comes and organizes this market will have, as in India as a country is too large, our population is too large, as in building a billion-dollar business would not be a problem at all. And I think people are going to keep eating sweets. And you're talking to the 18-year-old, right? He does not. They don't really care about. They are not worried about diabetes, so they are enjoying life. And 18 to 35 is a huge, huge segment. So which will remain. Yeah.
So then, Dheeraj, moving on. So from sweets to vada pav. So what was that transition like? Why pick vada pav? I mean, people always ask us, "Ki, bhai, this is they want to start something, but they don't know what to start with." So what was that point? You said, "I will start with vada pav first, like start selling."
So actually, I must mention there was this gentleman. His name is Alvis, and he has written this book called Focus. This should become a mandatory reading for anyone who wants to start a business. He really talks about brand building, how brands get created, and he talks about how it is all about selecting a category and then subdividing the category and dominating it. So I'll give you an example. My favorite example is in the pizza business. So pizza as a category was very small in the US probably 70, 80 years ago. And then probably Pizza Hut, whoever the founder was, must have come along and thought that I'm going to create a brand around this and organize it. And then the gentleman who who built Domino's, he said that, oh, this guy's already done the sit down experience. So why don't I take up start the home delivery segment? Can pizzas be home delivered? And obviously, when he started, no one believed that it would happen. It would become so large. So within the pizza category, there was a dominant player, and then it got subdivided into pizza eaten in a restaurant and pizza home delivered. And you have got two significantly large players dominating each of those categories. So these kind of insights, I was getting them at a very young age when I had started. And that's why I also started the mithai business alone, thinking that this is a category which a brand will dominate. And then when I looked around and I saw this vada pav in Mumbai was a huge unbranded category, which was, lying, it was an opportunity waiting to be tapped into, and that's how Jumboking started.
I remember. So I have to travel Bombay very frequently due to work, and also there is a vada pav stall just right outside airport. So it is like a ritual at this point. Now you have to eat, and then we go for our work and everything.
Yeah.
So vada pav,
Bombay must be at least 100 such locations. They are all really famous, doing extremely well. Outside every station in Mumbai, you will have one such mecca of vada pav who does brilliant business, and their products are really nice.
So how was Dheeraj your journey within this segment? Then we'll switch to burgers. So what was the scale? What were how you were doing it? If you can help us understand.
So we got great success when we started because obviously hygiene was one part which was missing, and that was the proposition which we were really getting in for the customer. Most of the operators selling vada pav were not too educated. They did not have, like I had my hotel management background and then an MBA in finance. So obviously I knew things a little, I looked at things a little differently versus a guy who was, basically people who were selling vada pav were, not too educated. The people who were educated were starting IT businesses, right? So we started, and as the business grew, as we scaled up and went up to store number 40 and fifth store number 50, our central kitchen could not take up the volume which was required to be manufactured every day. And that's when we had to go to the organized guys for manufacturing. They had large machines, 100 crore investments had gone into putting up those automated plants. And once we started migrating to them, because as the business gets organized, you have to get into automation. The cost of making the product went up significantly. And that's when I was hit by the harsh reality that, what's in a name? There is a lot in a name, right? Because I'll tell you the reason is Vada Pav had a price point elasticity. You could not go beyond, say, 20 rupees. And while our manufacturing cost, because of the automation and the hygiene that we wanted, we were buying from ISO 22000 certified plants. Obviously, they would come with a lot of cost attached. So we were getting squeezed on both the sides, cost going up, and we could not move up on the MRP because we would lose our customers to the other unorganized players. So, and I had a friend, who, it was one of those experiences where at one of our stores, he said that, hey, I went to the Jumboking store and you all had some crowd. The guy next to you was selling burgers and he had like 2 times the number of people. And you all are brand, that guy was a random fellow just selling burgers. So we got our marketing team to do research, as in, talk to customers. And the insight was so powerful. The young 18-year-olds were saying, yeah, Jumboking is vada pav. When we want to eat that, we go there. But when we want to eat burgers, we come over here. And the detail that I missed out telling you is that we already had a small range of burgers within our menu. And that, but we had got so strongly identified with vada pav that people were not giving us a chance. They felt Jumboking is for vada pavs. And
Right.
so that's when in trying to be in two boats was working out to be a problem for us. And we had to completely drop vada pav as a product from our menu and pivot to burgers and become a burger company. And this transition happened in 2017 and it worked really, really well. So the advantage was, literally it is we added sesame seeds on the buns. We replaced our, basic tomato sauce, tomato and garlic sauce with a garlic mayonnaise sauce. And the bread, the patty, we have to move from, that besan coating to breadcrumbs. My cost would have gone up by 2 rupees, but we were able to increase our price point by 20 rupees.
But Dheeraj, like, tell me, like, isn't it a very competitive space? For example, like in Delhi NCR, I personally have seen like at least 10 joints, and some are really, really good, like fresh buns, etc. You name it, like they are excellent, right?
Yeah.
Um, in this entire segment of burger, right? Is it not very competitive? And what is your take on it?
So when you shift category, right, going back to Alvarez, we move from the vada pav category to the burger category. So I would, probably, I can confidently say that in the vada pav category, we were like the big fish. You know, we had the highest price and we had the highest hygiene markers in our favor, etc. And when we moved to the burger category, there were the McDonald's and the Burger Kings and so many other players. And so, but still, we felt that we had a much higher chance of succeeding as a burger brand than as a vada pav brand. It is not that so in vada pav, like we had got into Delhi in 2012, and we put up I think about 6 stores in Delhi, and we were not doing well at all. And all my friends from Delhi who would come to Mumbai, and like you said, they would come at the airport and first want to have a vada pav. Or if I was visiting them in Delhi, they'd all say, "Boss, you cannot land over here and not be carrying a parcel of vada pavs for us." But when we went over there, they simply didn't care. Delhiites, they had their chole kulche, right, and then they had their burgers. They did not care for vada pav when we went over there. These are all, harsh realities that we learned by doing. This was not theoretical stuff. And we had also gone to Bangalore, we had gone to Hyderabad, Indore, Raipur in Gujarat. We put up stores in all of these places, and vada pav was not received that well. It had a pricing perception issue.
So, what's your now bit in terms of pricing point for your burger? Where do you stand? Is it like McDonald's, higher end, mid range? Like, what is it?
So we going by the category principle, we say that the McDonald's and Burger King are the sit-down places. That's where you go to when you want to sit and enjoy a meal and hang out with friends. Jumboking, like we have 41 stores in Delhi Metro.
Oh, wow.
Yes, and we are focusing and completely specializing on the on-the-go experience. It's like when you are short on time and you need to quickly pick up a snack and go. Jumboking is where you go. That is what our positioning is about.
And
So,
what's the point with this typically?
sorry.
The price point?
So in price point, for 99 rupees, you can get a combo, a burger and Coke. And yeah, and we are also 100% vegetarian. So yeah, so it is exciting times. It is a very competitive category, but it's worth fighting for because it's huge. And I think 10 years down the line, that is the category which is going to become probably 3 times, 4 times, 5 times larger than what it is today.
And how did the sort of partnerships pan out? You mentioned about being in metro station. So, help us walk through that journey in terms of how does someone crack such partnership?
So there are lots of people who are now doing burgers on metro stations in Delhi. So you have to go approach them. There are consolidators who have. They're pretty much like how you get stores on the high streets, and so there are people who kind of similarly deal with properties on metro stations.
And what is your plan, Dheeraj, in terms of expansion? You want to grow this particular segment, or you want to add more products?
So we believe that see if you see in the branding play, the more focused you are,
Hmm.
the the better chances of you succeeding in the long run.
Okay.
right? So like McDonald's does burgers, Domino's does pizzas, then Starbucks does coffee. That's what they're really known for, right? Subway does sandwiches. And there has been that's why I'm making a reference again of this book Focus, where they talk about how in the mature markets, it is the very very super specialized guys who are actually going to succeed. Because if you have a lot of generalists doing similar stuff, right, it will look like the generalist is winning. But when a focus player enters into that field, they take the market away because you can then super specialize. It's like, how a doctor, if I have an eye problem, the chances that I go to a eye specialist are very high. And then within that, if someone has a cornea problem, there's a cornea specialist. They are the ones who will make way more money. And then, they focus on that is the problem I'm solving, and I'm going to become very good at it. Versus a general MBBS, practitioner, you might, just go for your cough and cold and headache and everything, and they probably work the hardest and make the least money.
Definitely. So, in Dheeraj, in this landscape, now let's switch gears and try to understand from policy perspective, regulatory perspective, how easy, difficult, what are the challenges you are facing? So, we touched upon what you're doing, scaling everything. Now, let's talk about real world challenges. Every business has challenges, right? So, what are your challenges which you're dealing as of?
I think they're all different at every stage of life, and I have a business coach. Her name is Minu Mariel. I've been blessed with a lot of amazing people in my life. So Minu Mariel, she came into my life in 2017. Actually, that's when the pivot for us happened, and she has this beautiful way of explaining things. That any business to take an example to explain it from that 1 to 10 crores of when you're building the business. She calls it the stage of formulation, right? That's where you are deciding what is to be done. Actually, you have nothing to lose because you're just starting off. It's like an experiment that you're playing with, and you're doing certain things. They're working, some are not working. You keep on improvising as you move along, and then you are pretty much on your own. You don't have a very great team with you. As an entrepreneur, you're doing everything that is required to be done. I was marketing, I was product development, I was supply chain, I was the franchising head, I was the real estate guy, I was the ops guy making the SOPs, all of those things, right? Then at from the 10, the next part of the business is what she calls as the stage of concentration, which is from the 10 crores to the 100 crores. Right? This is actually the toughest part for any business owner.
Oh, that's the toughest part, not the 1 to 10 one.
Yes, because that takes the longest amount of time. Because what happens is now you've got some amount of success, right? And you want to scale up your business, and you start getting in your mid management kind of people in place. You really can't hire the top management, the CXO kind of people, because they're going to be super expensive. How will your business pay for it? Either you go to a VC and you end up giving away a large part of your company, or otherwise you're bootstrapping your way through. So this is where uh, in the concentration stage, uh, you're trying to build your team, and building the team part is really tough, where you don't know whether to let go or take the decisions. As an entrepreneur, from the 1 to 10, you are doing everything, and now you're having to rely on people who are making mistakes. And as an entrepreneur, it becomes very difficult to be patient with those mistakes, because you feel that what the hell, I'm paying so much money and it's taking twice the amount of time, and the mistakes are costing money. I let me do it myself. But you cannot be doing it yourself, because then you are coming in the way of your business's growth. So I took a long time from this 10 to 100. And in fact, just this year, we've closed at 110 crores in system-wide sales, and at least I would like to believe my coach that we have passed the tough phase, and from the 100 to 1,000 and onwards, she calls as the stage of momentum. Hello.
Yes, but very interesting. Formulation, concentration, momentum.
Yeah. So that another difference, is that in the state of concentration is that every 10 units of effort is getting you 1 unit of output.
Oh, wow.
That's how tough things become. You feel like, my God, I'm putting in so much effort. I'm putting in so many hours. Why am I not
No
getting?
result. Yeah.
I moved from 1 to 10 so fast, and everybody said this guy is a genius. He's going to be the next McDonald's,
Yeah.
and it's not happening. It's like 2 steps forward, 1 step backward.
Mm.
And in the momentum stage, that is when you have your team in place, a lot of the systems and processes in place. You have become more grounded in what you're really good at. You know your strengths, and that is where 1 unit of effort gets you 10 units of result.
Wow.
And that's where the flywheel takes off, and you start growing.
And what about in formulation stage? Any?
Formulation stage is like, you can theoretically put it as 1 unit of effort gives you 1 unit of result. So you're happy with what you're getting.
Because you're personally doing many things, so you sort of can.
You can, yeah. Anyway, you have nothing to lose. Then you're starting literally from zero. So everything is a win.
So you mentioned, you touched upon Dheeraj in terms of capital, VC funding, and all. So how have you managed so far? External capital, internal, whatever it is. What is the future plan to fuel the expansion?
So Jumboking, we closed at 170 stores last year, and we feel India is a very large country, and
Hmm.
even 10 times this size, 20 times this size, all of those things are going to be possible in the future. Uh, again, I think the most uncomfortable thing for a lot of entrepreneurs, since your cohort is entrepreneurs, and they would face this challenge, and I faced it a lot, is that I would, in those days, read the newspaper, or listen to podcasts, or see videos, and talk, watch Shark Tank, and see how people are going from 0 to 100 in no time, and 100 to
Yeah,
1,000 in no time.
yeah,
And that gets very intimidating. I used
yeah.
to be intimidated that what the hell am I doing?
True.
Guys are super smart, and they are going so fast. And I made the mistake of raising capital just for the sake of faster growth in 2008. That's what the last when we raised money.
Wow.
And because I wanted to grow fast. Now, in hindsight, right, I feel that even with that bull force of getting in more capital, right, either to get in a better team, or get in, fund our stores or our experiments, we have still over the last 20 years, right? As in, now when I look back, in 2004 was when we hit the 1 crore mark. In 2024 March is when we hit the 110 crore mark.
Wow.
So it is slow, but that is a compounded CAGR growth of 26%.
That's amazing number, 2004, 2024. A lot of patience needed.
Lot of patience needed. And I like, was if we just grow at this pace, 2034, Jumbo King will be 1,000 crores at least. That is an exciting number. And we don't need to raise any further capital or dilute anything at all to get there. What we just need to do is be patient and keep on executing it. And see, I studied, I looked at Domino's, right? They are probably the largest, most successful QSR brand in the country. And in 2007, they were at a 400 crore turnover. And in 2017, they hit the 4,000 crore mark
Wow.
in 10 years. That is 26% CAGR growth. I was like, even a brand like Domino's, they inherited a lot of their systems from the US. So
Yes.
we are having to invent a lot of the learnings for ourselves. So we take more time, right? So with all of those learnings available to them, with such a strong brand available, strong positioning available, marketing resources, team resources available, even they could only grow at 26. You can call it only grow at 26% CAGR, or say they grew at a fabulous pace of 26% CAGR. Why should we, kind of put pressure on ourselves and want to do that in 5 years? Right? How can you do that? Uh, so this is I came so what I was saying, I came to peace with, we are going to be doubling our turnover every 2 to 3 years. This is what we are focused on. Doubling at 2 years is still a 42% CAGR growth. That's the entrepreneur on me who still doesn't want to settle for that 26% number. It looks too easy, right? So, but I said every 2 to 3 years, that's what we are going to go for. I don't want to look out 10 years ahead.
But Dheeraj, tell me something. How does someone get such clarity? I mean, I had talked to so many entrepreneurs, right? This clarity, it's to be at peace with yourself and we look at things from this lens, like dominoes with all this thing is doing 26. Why to have, I can do like X? How does someone generate this sort of clarity?
Two ways. One is like me, make mistakes and learn. Second way is listen to your podcast and then listen to me and learn. Hello. So these are the two ways that I know.
Wow, wow, wow.
Yeah.
I think that's quite something. And I think you read a lot. I'm getting that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about what are your 3 or 5 top books everyone should read. Focus you mentioned, but you can.
So Focus by Aldous and Jack Trout, and he's got another book called The Death of Advertising and Rise of PR. Then he's got something called Positioning. In fact, this gentleman, any book and every book that he has written, I would say that you must read it. It's a PhD in brand building. Then I think as entrepreneurs, we all should get a business coach.
Okay, let's talk about that. How does someone get a business coach?
Of course, my business coach, Minu Mariel, she is in India building something called the Fed 100, where she wants to take up 100 top entrepreneurs and work with them. She, of course, is looking for people who want to build billion-dollar businesses. She has that thing for the large business and that kind of ambition. So, how I got this was, if you'll see the top sportsmen in the world, right? Be it Roger Federer or Nadal or whoever, when they're at the top of their game, they have a coach who's still telling them how to become better. We as entrepreneurs, why do we rob ourselves of that opportunity of having a coach who's going to tell us, what we can do to become better? Because in our teams, you're pretty much the bosses, right? Everyone comes to us to ask us what is to be done. So that sometimes gets into our head. We feel that we are the know-it-all, right? So having an accountability coach, who kinds of keeps on reminding you of what your game is, what your ambition is all about, and what you need to do to get there. This is a very common concept in the West. In India, not as much. And I think this getting in this coach was the one single biggest thing which changed everything.
Wow.
The clarity that you mentioned about, which I got it from where, was by talking to my business coach, because I would have hours and hours of discussion, and I'm like, there was a like this year we have grown 50% year on year. It has been a fantastic year for us. And I'll tell her that, I'm not feeling too good because another business chain, another, QSR chain I got to know of, they grew at 90%.
90%.
Yes. So I was like, this comparison is drowning me. I am not enjoying my 50% growth.
Yeah.
So, having these kind of conversations with the coach.
What was the answer I need to know?
So she said that, see, you are not enjoying your own successes. You have grown at 50%. And the law of, either you enjoy what you're doing, and there's a little bit of spirituality in all of this. And I have done 2 shivers of Vipassana meditation. I am in the 5 a.m. club. I started all of this during the COVID. I read the Raman Sharma book and I was blown away by the 5 a.m. club. So now today I get up at 5 a.m. every day. I've been in this club now for this is my 4th year running. I have an hour of pranayam and meditation in the morning, and then I am a marathon runner. So we have a running group. So I go for my 3 days of running training, 3 days of yoga training, and I've literally like packed in so much between that 5 and 9 in the morning. And so my business coach talks about that there are all aspects of life. There are 6 aspects of life which have to be whole and complete at all times. So your business is one part of you. Your health is the second part. Your spiritual growth is your third part. Your family, right? Your kids, wife, parents, that is the third part. Then your friends and your society, that is the 5th part. And then your environment, as in what you're doing really for the society at large. That is the 6th part. So we as business owners, we make a goal only for our business objective. I want to become a millionaire or billionaire and those kind of things. I actually have a business goal for each or a goal for each of the 6 parts. And I used to say, hey, once I become this or once I put up 100 stores, then I'll focus on my health. And she would say that no, nothing doing. We are going to focus on your health now because that is what is going to ensure you get to the 100th and the 1000th and the 10,000th store.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So, and the same with relationships, right?
Mm. Mm.
Yeah.
And tell me, Dheeraj, is it really so? We have a lot of young listeners, okay, and the generation 5 a.m. If you tell them, I don't know how many can pull
Correct.
them off. So, any alternatives?
So this is very interesting because I'm also very young that way, not too old. And I was someone who used to love it. I would wake up only at 8 a.m., right? And then I realized, at some point, I realized the power of 5 a.m. I was, reading the habits of successful. It's really about how serious you are about, getting to, because a lot of us are committed. We commit that we want to be fit, but we are not really resolved about it. So once you get resolved about things, then the way you will act and behave is going to be completely different. I kind of say that if you want to, build a great body, you should go to Salman Khan and hire his coach because he has got him there. Right? If you want to go to and play great tennis, go and hire, Djokovic's coach. As of course he'll be expensive, but then the coach is what is getting that person there. So go and find out how are the people. I got obsessed with finding out even the books, which now I relate back. The books that I was reading when I was 25 years old, 26 years old, of how are these guys doing what they were doing, right? So. 5 a.m. I had a friend. He said, "Okay, I'm in the 6 a.m. club," and I was like, "No, that's still not the 5 a.m. club." He said, "हाँ तो एक ही घंटा तो आगे है." I said,
Yeah.
like, if you get to the 5 a.m. club, you'll add 1 0 towards the end of your net worth. So the difference between 100 crores and 1,000 crores is going to be 5 a.m. I hope that motivates you to get up at 5.
That's amazing, Dheeraj. I mean, a lot of clarity, a lot of discipline definitely is needed, and the role of a
One
coach, you know,
just, and it inspires my whole team, right? Because they're like, "Wow, this guy is waking up at 5. He's doing so many things."
you're setting the example, yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. And any sort of so Insta Reels has become a thing, right? Many people learn from Reels, etc., etc. What is happening there? That's a separate topic. But there was this something I saw way back in terms of. So I wanted to get a clarity, like the McDonald piece. They buy the land or something, and then they something do it, right?
Yeah.
There is model. If you can help us explain and how you guys are operating,
So good, Ashish. So we are a franchising company.
Yeah.
All our stores are franchised.
Okay.
We don't have company-owned stores, and a lot of the things that we are doing is we are learning from what has worked in the West. We feel that if it has worked there, it is most likely going to work over here also in India.
Okay.
So in the West, of course, the real estate. So we are not talking about the franchising piece. You specifically asked me about the real estate part. So in the US, the interest rates are lower. They were lower in 1954 also, where you could get a bank loan at about 5-6%. And the rent that you would pay for the property was also at about that similar range, 5 to 6%. Made sense to pay an EMI instead of paying rent monthly. So McDonald's got into buying the property. This formula unfortunately does not work in India because today the interest cost is close to that 12%. In fact, commercial loans are even higher. While the real estate cost, the properties are so expensive in India that the rent is as little as 3 to 4% of the property value. So that
Wow.
equation financially does not fit in. Right? It worked in the US. It will not work in India till such time that the interest rates in our country come down to that 5% and lower.
Interesting. Interesting.
So it's a
That's
very mathematically, scientifically proven thing of what is going to work.
That makes sense. That makes sense. And then you talked about you guys are only doing franchising. So help us understand that model. So if someone gives 100 rupees, what's your franchise cost? How much they make ROI on that investment? Because ultimately that's the uh, whole point and piece within it. Yeah.
So there are two ways, as entrepreneurs, since you have a lot of people who might be building businesses. This is for franchisors, people who are building their own restaurant brands or food brands. I have, in fact, written this whole book called 10x. I must talk about this 1 minute.
Yes, yes, we must see,
Forgot
please.
this. So this is the book. This is 10x Your Business. This is a book available on Amazon, and I had written this because a lot of people used to ask me these questions. She's the way you are, and I really believe in paying it forward. Sharing what I have learned because I learned from others of how franchising works and what is the right way to franchise.
Yeah,
So the 10 advantages of taking a franchise is what I have put down over here. And I feel in today's world, there is a lot of easy capital which is available. So people who are starting, like we could have taken a lot of private equity money. Even today, there are people say that, we would fund you, we can raise 100 crores, 200 crores, whatever money you want and go faster, right? And have the whole thing for yourself. Franchisees will bring down the quality, etc. While we believe as a company that what excites us is Subway has 78,000 stores worldwide. Now that is scale, right? That is what excites us. And they are using franchising. McDonald's has close to 38,000 stores. And I was in Atlanta last September attending the franchise conference over there. And 9 out of 10 large brands in the US are franchising even today and franchising even more aggressively today. They have no dearth of capital, right? Why would they want to appoint franchisees? And why in India, I keep asking people are raising more and more capital and trying to put company owned stores. Because I feel a franchisee coming in is like an entrepreneur coming into the business. And he is going to be very, very motivated to succeed. And so this is why we franchise. As in, this is something which why I mentioned this is a lot of young entrepreneurs who are starting the restaurant business, food business. I think that they are selling out their companies and trying to raise capital, and by the time they get to the other side, they're left holding nothing. While franchising actually is a win-win situation where you create the system, and then an entrepreneur comes in, he gets who wants to get into the business. He does not want to do the whole. So typically we have finance, we have marketing, we have supply chain, we have training and audits, we have projects, and we have the IT department. These are 6 departments and services which we provide to our franchisees, right? This takes a lot of work and effort and a lot of investment. Not everybody wants to do this.
but isn't it a tricky model also? So, for example, MBA Chaiwala, you must have heard that whole story, unrolling everything because the guy used to charge what 20-25 lakhs, and the economics for a chai store, right? It didn't add up the numbers and everything, and it just went. He made money, sure, but in the end, lot of people lost a lot of money
Correct.
for the store, and there was a lot of anger towards the brand and everything else because there is a angle of uh, not be able to make money as a franchisor, whatever it is. So,
Right.
what is your take on that particular aspect? Because it has to be win-win for both.
See, franchise. So there will be examples of both, of company-owned stores which bombed, investors lost a lot of money,
Yeah.
and in franchise-run brands where the guy. So franchising for the right reasons is very, very important. It should not be a quick rich scheme
True.
where that's where this patience of building out the business slowly, doubling every 2 to 3 years. People want to put up 100 stores every year and 200 stores and 300 stores because they feel I have to just give out franchisees, right? And then if they succeed, great. If they don't, it's not my problem. So franchising for the right reasons and understanding that you have to put your franchise first, right? So we have something called as the JK University, right? Where all our videos are put in digital format. And now we are creating another layer on the JK University called the Franchise Accelerator Program, where we, with the 100 franchisees that we work with, about 20 are going to be committed and serious about the business. So with them, we put in additional effort and we want them to scale up their business to 4, 4, 5, 5 stores And I tell them my ambition is that you have to make a crore a year out of the Jumbo. Not everybody gets serious about it, and we come to know on the first store. So our philosophy is that only if the franchise succeeds are we going to succeed, right? And that so
Makes
we are not in a hurry. We don't. Everybody walking in with a check does not. So there are all these filters and parameters you have to have put in place, and franchising can get out of hand because someone else is putting the capital, and uh, I can actually go much faster. But that's again a mistake that people make.
wonderful,
So
wonderful.
these stories, actually, they are good. They help franchisors become careful, and you have to again get back to your commitment to franchisee success, because franchise also ask us more questions, right? Are you another of those, or but we would like Jumboking to become the example of. It's like how Infosys is an example of how an IT company should be built, and there was also a Satyam which did it the wrong way, right? So in franchising, I would love that Jumboking goes down the route of becoming the Infosys in the franchising business.
Very well said, Dheeraj.
Yeah.
Very well said. No, definitely. Like I think just running now out of time. So, Dheeraj, any your last comments? Anything you want to share from your perspective to our listeners? Please do tell.
So, Ashish, thank you. I think it was very interesting to be here, and I think we are blessed to be born in this country in this time and age where I think the next 2 decades belong to us and to our country and to entrepreneurs over here. So just be willing to put in the right effort, and I think we are just totally blessed to be building our businesses in this country.
Wonderful. Thanks a ton, Dheeraj, for your time. It was such a pleasure talking to you. It helped me, and I'm sure listeners will also definitely enjoy in terms of clarity. One big key takeaway, guys, go for find a good business coach. And I couldn't agree more. It's a point which gets left behind as you're running a business. You feel you know it all, but in the end, a little guidance never hurt anybody. So awesome. Thanks a ton, Dheeraj.
Thank you so much, Ashish. It was a pleasure. Bye.